Next speaker is someone who's absolutely fearless in what she does. Even during this crisis, she has managed to bring additional investment into the north of Ireland. Peta Conn heads up Invest NI across North America. It's a tough job. She's the woman ready and right for the job, the appropriate person to lead at this time. We're very safe in her stewardship. So I want you to welcome from Boston. And they tell me in Boston that New York's a satellite city south of Boston. But from Boston, please welcome Peta Conn of Invest Northern Ireland.
Thank you very much, Machine, and delighted to be here to share some of the initiatives Invest Northern Ireland has been implementing, both in its initial response to the crisis, but really how do we build the Northern Irish economy moving forward? So if we could move to my PowerPoint presentation, please. Thank you very much. So Invest Northern Ireland is very much the link between both Northern Irish business and those looking to buy product from Northern Irish business in the US and indeed throughout the wider Americas. We also have a team that perhaps some of you are more familiar with our superstars like Andrea and Anya, who are very much responsible for bringing foreign direct investment into Northern Ireland. The links for business remain incredibly important for us. Our initial response to the crisis was to work with our Northern Ireland businesses to help shore them up, make sure they had financial support, be that either through wider UK government schemes, be that through NI executive schemes, and make sure that the furloughing process, business loans, rates of relief, that they had all of the information required in order to try and survive this tumultuous time. If we could go to the next slide, please. So I really wanted to come in and talk to you about what our current mantra is, which is very much on the return, reset, and rebound. Our current focus is very much around getting people back to work safely. How do we support our businesses to enable social distancing in the workplace? So we have a number of information tools that we have put up to our businesses. We have checklists in terms of what considerations need to be made on that return to work. We have key criteria for risk assessments about that return. So that safe working and support is very much the first step of our recovery process. What we have done in terms of a specific initiative is we carved out 1,800 hours to survey and speak to companies we work with about what their main concerns are. What are the issues that are keeping the CEOs, the senior management of those companies awake at night? We got a lot of great information from that will help us shape the next phase of economic recovery and indeed the future of economic growth for Northern Ireland. We had some comments in our tech panel that actually, yes, we need to take the entrepreneurs, the SME, NI businesses' views into account, and we have very much started that process. This then leads into the reset phase, which is what are our strategies? Do we have the right tools as an organisation in order to adjust to the new normal, both for ourselves as an organisation, but also for providing that information and that insight and that advice into the companies that we're working with. The rebound phase, as we move through, is very much, okay, well, what new opportunities may there be for Northern Ireland? And fortunately, we had been working on some of these initiatives, some of the longer term initiatives before COVID-19 hit. How can we accelerate some of our activity around that? So you can see we've got 5 kind of key touch points to aid across those key 3 themes. First is safe working and support. The second is digital solutions. So we're conscious that companies are not able to travel at the moment. How do we maintain some degree of business continuity? Is that e-platform, e-commerce? How do we ensure that our companies develop the skills in order to be able to successfully trade in today's business environment? So we have already come up with some workshops that have been implemented using both ourselves and third-party providers to enable companies to upskill in digital marketing, e-commerce, platform understanding, etc. The third area is very much around supply chain and sourcing. And one of the first things we did was put together a risk checklist so that companies can really evaluate how at risk their current supply chain may be. Also turn it on themselves in terms of is there risk in terms of their supply, where they may fit into some of their customers' supply chain as well. The fourth and key area is around growth and competitiveness. How do we grow our companies? We know there's going to be a downturn. Some of the companies we have worked with are looking at more immediately bringing back around 25% of furloughed staff, but we are aware there will be some redundancies. How do we mop up some of that talent that is now going to be on the open market? A key part of that is through skills development. So a number of initiatives have happened in this space. Number one, and this is testament, you've heard a lot this morning about the agility of Northern Ireland, and we're always delighted to get the feedback from US investors that that is one of the most distinct traits that stand out to them. But also, I'd like to give kudos where due to a number of things. One is Belfast Met have done a digital skills project. We've got the Open University partnership with Invest NI, who have provided free skills training around leadership and management, entrepreneurship, and digital skills. So if we could go to the final part here is the Northern Ireland Grand Challenge and the innovation, which is really what is that future economic growth, the future economic strategy going to be for Northern Ireland. So next slide, please. So that's very much what has been happening in Northern Ireland itself. The next part is really around what have we been doing here in the US. So we need those strong links to enable business matching. We have been busy trying to replicate the virtual opportunities to continue business trading, be that a one-to-one meet the buyer event, be it a cluster of companies that could be interested in one particular channel, to where, what are you doing with virtual FDI visits to Northern Ireland. We provide widespread support and information when a specific company is looking at the US market. We will provide them with insight from our team here. We currently have 6 trade team members throughout the Americas, one in Canada, one in Santiago. The rest are very much US based. And we have them allocated on a sector-by-sector basis so that they have a depth of knowledge when trying to support a company, be it in either the tech sector or life and health sciences, etc. We are continuing with our FDI attraction, and I'll talk a little bit about more of that in a moment. We are very strong in identifying what the US drivers and opportunities are so that that can feed into our strategy. One thing that we have been doing is the team here have been reporting back in terms of federal stimulus, federal relief schemes, also on a US state-by-state basis. We have also been monitoring what other economic development agencies have been doing. And all of this is getting fed back to our senior management, to our board, that then gets also further fed back into our Department for the Economy. To ensure that we can learn from best practice, we can see what other regions are doing, and this actually does happen on a global basis. That will really help us shape what the future of Northern Ireland will do. We are also in the final year of our corporate international business strategy, so we have a number of KPIs that we are looking at delivering to. So the next slide, please. This is a quick overview, and these were the results that had come through to the end of until March 2020, which showed the importance of the US market in terms of our exports, the phenomenal growth that we had received. And, unfortunately, this will be impacted, but we're very much committed to looking at how we pivot, how we can maintain the business continuity for those companies, how we can support the companies that have pivoted in terms of some of their manufacturing. You heard Minister Dodds earlier on talking about, some companies retooling to make face masks. We had O'Neill Sportswear utilize some of their high functional fabrics to create scrubs for the market. In that particular example, the quality of the product is so good, we think that that's not a temporary product line for them. That could be something of a more permanent area to produce around, and how can we help them globally increase their export sales. We have also created a number of webinars which will be appearing on our website, which are very much industry updates around the US, be this around the banking sector. We have Food and Drug Administration events. We're also currently looking at what companies in Northern Ireland are really catering to remote working, be that online learning to other tech solutions. And is there an opportunity right now to support them to increase their sales internationally? Next slide, please. On the FDI side, and Marcin did mention, we're very happy to be able to announce Sigilante Cybersecurity as a service company out of Boston in May this year, which is creating 65 jobs in Northern Ireland. I'm also delighted just to say we also have another 3 US companies currently being considered by our senior teams, which we would hope to be able to announce in the next quarter, 2 of which are from the East Coast, 1 from the West Coast of the US. So what we've seen is there's still strong interest in Northern Ireland from US investors. They are important to us. We want to make sure current investors are also continuing to succeed, so they are also entitled to the domestic programs and funding that we have, that we administer. The team is actively engaging in reaching out to US companies to see if Northern Ireland is a match for their international expansion ambitions. And a large part of this is really keeping the focus on what Northern Ireland can offer. And that is very much around the talent, the innovation, and more recently, the continued resilience. You've heard from a number of people that the resilience is a key theme for our region. We have stacked up very strongly against other regions where US investors also have a presence, and that's an area that we are very proud of. So we continue to support companies to drive investment, and we look forward to continued success in that area, despite the challenges that we're seeing right now. So final slide. This is very much just a quick look at the footprint of Invest Northern Ireland in the Americas. We have ramped up our international staff, so please do reach out to me. As you've probably heard, I don't have the dulcet tones of a Northern Irish accent, despite my father being from there. So if you wanted to talk about rugby, being a New Zealander, that's something I would definitely be passing on, but please reach out to me for any business questions. Thank you very much.